Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us for this week's People's Parliament. And I'm privileged to be joined by Mr. Regan Cantu, and we're excited to have him. And we'll be discussing, among many other issues, political violence involving young people. And in this show today, I'm joined by Regan Cantu, and I'll be joined by another colleague of ours, and we'll obviously get to know them when they join in. To kickstart the discussion, as we're waiting for the other colleague to join in, I will ask Mr. Regan Cantu to just briefly introduce yourself to the viewers, let the viewers know a little bit about you, and then we can pick it up from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fumbachama. My name is, as Eddie alluded, I'm Cantu Regan. I'm a student by UNZA, by the University of Zambia. I'm a 5th-year student studying veterinary medicine, and I'm also a youth ambassador for Unity and Prosperity, and I'm the current vice president for this youth-led organization.
I think I lost you. Can you just go through that again? Sorry. I think we have bad network today as well.
All right. Okay, I was saying my name's Regan Cantu, and I'm a 5th-year student by studying veterinary medicine. And I'm the current vice president for a youth-led organization called Youth Ambassadors for Unity and Prosperity. And we also get to preach and talk about youths not being involved in electoral violence and how this can be stopped and curbed.
Okay, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about the organization, and if there is anyone funding it, who is funding it, who is part of it, how is your membership, who can be part of your membership, who can join you, who cannot join you, and things like that.
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, our organization as Youth Ambassadors for Unity and Prosperity, we are a non-government organization. Of course, not yet registered. We are going to be registered soon. And our works are not being funded by anybody. It's just the initiative that we came up as youths. We have been seeing escalating issues of violence and also looking at the previous elections that we had in 2016. We had issues to do with political violence. Hence, we came up with this idea to say, we as youths, since we are being used as major tools of political violence, I think it's better if we begin to preach to our fellow youths on the importance of keeping peace and making sure that we add positively to the nation, and to make sure that we use the energy that we have instead of being involved in political violence, but we use the energy towards national development. Hence, we came up with this group. Who is supposed to be part of this group? Well, this group, it's open to everybody. It's a youth-led group. Of course, we have been currently also recruiting mothers and elderly people to also come to also be on board, because we feel political violence, it does not spare anybody. We are all affected as citizens. Hence, the need for everybody to come on board, regardless of your political affiliation. Feel free, as long as you have got you are part and parcel of our team. Because when it comes to issue to do with peace or maintaining unity, we don't need to take sides. We do not need to take sides as a nation when it comes to issues to do with peace and unity. Hence, everybody is welcome, and we have recruited so many youths across Lusaka. Of course, our aim, we also want to sell out to other provinces and towns, so that each and everybody can get to participate, so that the voice can be heard, and to make sure that as youth we guard and safeguard our future of the nation.
Okay, so just to help us understand, what do you think causes violence, political violence? What do you think is the cause of that?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fumba Chama. Well, political violence can be caused by various issues or items. Amongst them, I'll mention this one, and I like mentioning this one. First and foremost, as youths in the country, we do not understand our full potential that we have. We undermine ourselves. Hence, we are used cheaply to perpetrate violence. If as youth we could understand ourselves and what we can do for the nation and how we can contribute positively to the nation, we cannot be part and parcel of the political violence. And the other thing, it's an issue of poverty. Poverty also causes political violence because people have got nothing to do. People have nothing that they can do. Hence, their minds are not kept busy. Hence, anybody who comes up to them and dishes them or gives them a 20 kwacha to drink liquor, they will go out there and perpetrate violence. Hence, there is also need for us youths. We need to be proactive in issues to do with the nation. There is a better way that we can get to contribute to the nation. The other factor that causes political violence is the issue of laziness. To be honest, our culture as Zambians, when you look at the
Hello? Okay, so we've been joined by brother Mr. Nakweti, who will also be participating in this program.
That the youth of the nation that we have.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Nakweti, for joining us. You found us in a discussion with Mr. Regan Kantu, and he's just sharing with us what we believe is the cause of political violence in the country. So after he finishes, I'll get back to you. And the question is, what do you think is the cause of political violence? Mr. Regan, you can continue.
Okay, thank you very much. I already alluded to say there's the issue of we undermine ourselves as youth in terms of what we are capable of doing and what we can do to drive the nation into being in better position. Hence, we tend to lower our values, and we are used by various political players who would come and dish out money in order for us to perpetrate violence. Hence, the need for us youth to realize our potential and what we can do. The future is now. It is not about tomorrow. It is now that we can get to take up roles and to see to it that we are contributing positively towards national development. Hence, the need for us as youths to realize our full potential and how we can get to do this. The other second cause of violence is the issue of people differing in ideologies when it comes to politics. Yes, this issue has also been there in the country where because you're probably politically affiliated to this other political party and you believe in the ideas and or ideologies of political party and your colleague does not agree. But at the end of the day, we have seen people getting to fight over issues to do with political ideologies. Hence, there is need for us as youths or as young people, even as a nation, to get to understand that people will always have different ideologies or views when it comes to political agendas, even political affiliation. Hence, the need to respect your colleagues' idea or ideologies. Because, Mr. Fumba, what you see in the current government will not probably what I'm seeing in the current government. But at the end of the day, there's no need for us to get to fight or to get to perpetrate political violence because we want to achieve an agenda that which you believe. Hence, there is need as a nation to get to respect our political views and ideologies. Then the other cause of political violence in our country of late is the issue to do with tribalism. To be honest, and I'll be frank on this one, Mr. Fumba. I'll draw you back to 2016 elections. If we were to look at the voting patterns and also how the elections were carried out, you can bear witness with me to see that the way elections results were coming out showed some signs of tribal line kind of voting. Hence, even that also the tribalism has also our nation in such a way that political violence has been perpetrated. There are other tribes which will probably see other people to be more in higher authority than the other grouping. Hence, when it comes to politics, there will always be that difference, and people will try to engage in political violence. I talked about the issue of poverty also being one of the causes of political violence. People
Mr. Kantu,
in various sectors.
Let me just welcome Mr. Nakweti with his introduction. So, Mr. Nakweti, just tell us about yourself and just for the viewers to know you, and then we can build a conversation from there.
Thank you very much, Pirato. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes, Comrade. Be on this platform, like discussing this vibrant topic, political and electoral violence among the young people. I beg your pardon, I didn't get your question very well. Sorry for coming later.
Yeah. So what I said, what I asked is, can you tell us about yourself? And who is Nakweti? What are you doing? Just basic information to help our viewers understand who this Nakweti is. So
Okay. I'm Nakweti. Center for Young Leaders, Youth Ambassador for Western Province. I'm based in Shangombo. I'm also part of Youth for Parliament. I think that is enough.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Nakweti, what do you think is the reason? What do you think is the cause for political violence, especially during or before elections? What do you think is the cause for political? What do you think causes political violence? Mr. Nakweti?
Okay. I'll a lot of factors that lead to political violence, but I'll start with the high. I'm saying there are a lot of factors that things are political violence, but I'll start with the high unemployment level among the youths in Zambia, among the young people in Zambia. Youths engage in political violence so that they can find something. Many youths, sometimes most of them, they don't have anything to do. So that's why they find themselves being used as violence. I can even give an example. When maybe if a youth we can find himself, being engaged in political violence. And the other thing also that cause political violence among people. These parties that we have in Zambia, they don't train youths in their ideologies. I would say most youths that are involved in political violence, they don't even know what their manifesto states. They don't even know what their party ideologies are. It's what reason why they find themselves in political violence. I can also talk of poverty. Poverty also makes people to be engaged in political violence. So those are the things that I can state. And sometimes also I can say maybe, sometimes police also maybe fail to control the situation in Zambia. So that's why we have, political violence, because I know like youths can maybe, like their behavior because of such that police officers fail to control them.
Okay, so I've heard what your reasons for what you think causes political violence, and I've also heard from Mr. Kantu Regan, and I think there is some similarities to that. Don't you think the best way of addressing political violence is by addressing what causes it? Mr. Kantu, because if you can clearly point at the causes of violence, then already that's halfway to finding the solution to political violence. Why don't you think that's, if poverty is the cause of political violence, why don't you and your organization prioritize addressing the issues of poverty? If unemployment is the reason why young people are being used and hired to fight, to engage in political battles, why don't you think that your organization could start championing employment for young people? So then you address the cause of the problem to solve the problem.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Fumba. I think one other cause that we didn't that wasn't alluded is the issue to do with political party leaders too. There are few chances that we have seen where political party leaders would denounce violence despite being perpetrated by their followers. Hence, if also the political players would get to denounce violence in that way, we could see the coming issues in their followers. We could have had a calm situation. I'll come back to your question that you have asked, addressing the causes of violence that we have alluded to. I think the current regime has tried to engage youths in various activities towards national development, and one other things which have engaged is to help youths to get to realize their potential and what they can get to do. To be honest, our current education system of Zambia, to say so, it is aligned in such a way that you are taught to get to look for a white collar job. But to be honest, Mr. Fumba, I think as a nation we need to change our mindset. There are a lot of things that we can get to do, even if you're not formally employed. It pains me when I get to see young people like from morning, somebody will be standing on a bus stop asking for a 2 kwacha from a conductor, of which, and I look at the time that they are spending on that particular bus stop. If they were to go out, even to just get to start up a small entrepreneurship activity, they can get to do something. The only problem that we have as youths is that we want to start big and we want to be there before we get to start small. And also, one other thing that is needed is that as youths, we are lacking the issue of being focused and determined. We can do a lot of things as youths. The issue of poverty, we can do a lot of things. Even when you look at the mindset of Zambians currently, when somebody is employed in the formal sector, the first thing that they would do, they'd rather get a loan, get a fancy car, get to do a lot of their lifestyle. It is not enshrined in such a way that they live a lifestyle of entrepreneurship. Hence, we get to we get to do away with the issue to do with entrepreneurship. But of late, government has been trying to engage youth in various empowerment activities so that youths can be kept busy despite them not being formally employed. Hence, I feel we need to realize that and take advantage of these little things that are brought to us as youths. Instead of asking each and every day, you are begging for somebody to give you money. We need to wake up as youths and realize the energy that we waste.
Yes, correct.
Mr. Nakweti, do you agree to what do you agree with what Regan Kantu is saying?
The network was I won't get him properly. I just got him at the end where he said youths are begging, whatever. So I didn't get him proper. So maybe I beg your pardon. Maybe I can follow it very well.
So according to him, he's saying, first of all, he says the government has done done well in making sure that young people get opportunities. and get empowered, entrepreneurship and all of that. And then it says Zambian mindsets for young people is get a white collar job. When you get a job, get a fancy car, invest in your lifestyle and not in a business. So to what extent do you agree with him or disagree with him?
I don't agree with him. I agree with him. I want to disagree with him when he's saying that the government has done a lot, in empowering you in the youth. I totally disagree with him. What I've noticed with us young people, find that most of us we are just centered in Osaka and Copper Belt. We take like we have not gone maybe in other places, to visit how youths are living in those places. Do a lot of in Zambia, especially rural parts. I've given some of them province. I can even ask a question like, is there anything the government has done for the youth in Western Province? There's nothing. So you can't say that the government has done a lot. And yes, we can't say that maybe they are empowered in the sense that maybe they have been exposed to opportunities. Youths in Western Province haven't been exposed to opportunities. That is why maybe you see that maybe they're not doing anything. And where you say that youths are rushing into white collar jobs, they are rushing into white collar jobs because those are the things that they're trained in school. If you have to maybe taking vocational courses, it has to start with the school changing it. So if you don't change all these things, we will continue the same people that won't be adding value to our country. So the other thing that I can say, yes, we might be blaming. Sometimes we might be blaming the government. Yeah, it also starts with us, the youth, not come up with something that can improve our country. So they tell you that the government has to do everything, but the government needs to create a friendly environment for me to come up with something that is great that can benefit the country.
So Nakweti, what would be the ideal environment for you to do? So yes, Regan. Let me just follow it up. I'll come back to you. Just hold your thoughts. I want to exhaust the idea from Nakweti. Nakweti, you've mentioned of the government creating an enabling environment. What does that environment look like? What do you think the government should do that would enable you and the other young people thrive?
I beg your pardon. I didn't get you properly.
So what you said in your response that the government should create an enabling environment. My question is, what does that environment look like? What do you want the government to do? What sort of an environment should the government create you and other young people to thrive?
Okay. What I meant there, like we need the government to come up with program for the youth. Let's say maybe in each district, let them come up with the youth recreation centers, at least a place where youths can be learning skills like painting, playing, all those things. If I'm involved with a place, maybe playing, I'll be spending much time of doing that job. If I learn mechanics, I'm spending much of my time at the garage rather than me in political violence, in whatever. So those are the things that the government should do. And if we say maybe entrepreneurship skills, we should get that opportunity for youths maybe to have entrepreneurship skills and then empower them. I'll give you an example like what happened recently. I would say, like they were empowered some musician and the like. If you look at that procedure, the way they were giving out those youth empowerment, it was, to me, I'm not saying to everyone, but to me, I feel it wasn't bad because I feel it never benefited.
Okay, I think we've lost him due to bad network. His signal is weak, I noticed. You wanted to respond to his disagreement.
Yes, Mr. Fumba. Thank you very much. I think we need to be honest enough and to get to speak out the truth, nothing but the truth. Mr. Fumba, you can bear with me that uh, the current government, from the time it took office in 2016, the 5 years, if we look at various sectors which government has employed youths, and also just when you look at the issue of employment, you can bear with me to say that government has employed vast people into formal employment. And also, I'll give you an example. For example, in the health sector, the health sector of late, it has been having a lot of high numbers of employment. And when it comes to the issue of empowerment, empowerment has been an ongoing process. Various levels of empowerment have been initiated on various government schemes. So for Mr. Nakwete to say that the empowerment has not been equally shared, the current government has been empowering youths via the Ministry of Youth and Sports. It has also it's also on record, and everybody, you can also get to bear with me, my fellow panelists, to say government came up with a presidential initiative empowerment fund, and we have seen the coordinator has been going around the country, people, not just youths, but everybody, on various activities to do with employment. The only thing that I can just remind youths is that as youths, we need to take advantage of the opportunities that we get to have. Government has been initiating TVETA certificates out throughout the country where they get to train youths. And currently, I'll tell you that currently government has even brought in the issue of getting to provide scholarship in these TVETA institutes, which are offering skills or life training skills, and of which it is a good milestone. And if we were to look at even to various sectors, to say higher education, government currently it is sponsoring universities which are government, which never had any sponsorship. And you can bear with me that the past regimes had never done that. And when we look at the current regime, it has done this in order to improve the chances of youths getting to attain skills and also get to be educated. So the only thing that I can get to say to youths is that we need to get to rise up as youths. We get to stand and to get to use each and every opportunity that we have. We do not need to choose what we need to do. Every opportunity that is given to you, you can get to do something. I am a student who is at the University of Zambia. From my first year when I came into school, even before I came into school, I got to engage myself in various entrepreneurship skills just by the little that I had. I've worked before in my yard. I've done a lot of things for me to be where I am here. And I got to represent myself, and I've gotten to be where I am because I'm determined and I'm focused, and I'm able to look at the bigger picture and not the smaller picture of it all. From as little as a 200 kwacha, you can get to start up a small business. But the only thing is that as youths, we have been enticed in various activities like drug abuse, drinking alcohol, smoking, and all those bad vices that which we have tried to cherish and get to do. But if we can desist from those and be able to look at the various things that we can do, I'll give you an example. There are certain graduates currently who they have graduated, but what they are currently doing at home, it's just to sit at home. You do not need to wait until Hello, Mr. Nakweti, can you get me?
Yes, comrade.
All right. Okay. So we'll continue. Like I was saying, as young people, we need to take advantage of the innovative ideas that we can get to do.
Yes,
To
comrade,
be honest, to be honest, comrade,
comrade,
there are. Let me just exhaust
comrade.
my
Okay.
point. Let me just get to exhaust my point, comrade. To be honest with you, Mr. Nakweti, if you look at the mindset of youths nowadays, if you look at them, we really have to change our mindsets. To be honest, because when the most of the times that we get to do as youths is that we get to undermine ourselves and our potential, our full potential, that which we can get to do, even as we are fighting over political affiliation. Let us look at the issue of the people that we are trying to fight for. What are they promising you to do? What is it that they would want to do for you? And are they really going to do that for you? If we can get to analyze issues in those ways, we even see that there's no need for us to get to involve ourselves in political violence. What we need to do as youth, we need to desist ourselves in violence which is not issue based. And violence has to be condemned by all various sectors, and regardless of your political affiliation. We cannot get to develop under violence. To be honest, even as a simple marketeer cannot find time to be at the market if there is violence. Even a medical doctor cannot find time to attend to a patient if the country is in violence. Of late, we have seen various issues which are happening where we have seen certain leaders of political parties getting to mention alarming statements like, after elections the nation will be on fire, what and what. As leaders, we are also appealing to leaders, let us get to denounce violence. And when it comes to issue of maintaining peace, there's no country, you can bear with me, Mr. Fumba, there's no country in this world which has developed without having peace and stability. Hence, we need to look at the bigger picture as a country where we maintain this peace. When we maintain the peace, even the business activities will be able to flow properly. Even when we look at other various sectors that will help in building the nation, we can be able to share ideas. We can be able to share different ideologies to see to it that our country is moving in a better position. There is no need that we need to do as young people to get to involve ourselves in political violence.
Mr. Nakweti, I noticed you were agreeing and disagreeing. What's the problem? What do you say in response to what Mr. Regan has said?
I wanted to state the fact that where he said, there are graduates out there who are just home. Comrade, someone who has been to school for 4 or 5 years, you can't just choose to be, to be home. There must be a reason why that person is home. Me, I'll stick on my point of creating a platform. If you create a platform for someone, you will never see him complaining. Comrade Regan, the reason why he's saying him was doing business, I want to tell you that Regan had the platforms for that reason why he was doing all those businesses. There are young people who are coming as far as Chirubi Island. Maybe they're coming in campus for the first time. Like, maybe I'll give an example of myself. The first time I was in Lusaka to the time when I was reporting at the University of Zambia in my entire life. So you can just imagine I'm coming all the way from Shangombo. I come, maybe our family, they don't even have proper financial support. Then I come in school, I start running, I'm on 100%, I'm on BC, then that BC, I start doing a business. It can be a challenge for me, but if I have a proper channel, a proper platform, like an environment that is friendly, I can always find myself in doing all those businesses. So I find that even if much as I do that, I cannot be involved in organism, in political violence, or not. And I also want to state one thing that is killing a lot of youth in Zambia. We always put our political organization in front. We need to put Zambia first. You find that even when, just because I'm UPPZ, I'm SP, I would want to support whatever UPPZ or SP is doing or PF is doing. I need to know that PF, UPND, one day they will go, but Zambia will never go. I can even tell you we had UNIP, we had MMD, where are they now? you know. So if I put the agenda of the party forward, it means I'm killing myself. That's why I find that youths, young people tend to fight is because they put the agenda of their political affiliation forward than putting the agenda of Zambia forward. You know, if we put the agenda of Zambia forward, we find that we cannot have all these scaffolds that we always see around, because we know at the end of the day that we want to develop Zambia. Our aim is to make Zambia a better place. You know, if we make Zambia a better place, we can always have opportunities that we can all benefit as one.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through the comments on Facebook and YouTube from our viewers and just share what they are thinking and what their questions are. So this one says Scarlett Kalungaot is saying, what is the head of state stance on political violence? Country belongs, okay, that one shouldn't have been. Those skills have not been beneficial because they just provide skills and knowledge, but not opportunities to maximize those skills. Nope, because it's because of your education system is flawed. 200 kwacha is nothing today. Removing BC from students, is it part of empowerment? Can't to explain. There are no scholarships when they kicked out over half of students. I don't know what that means. The last one is Madadi Sotembo. Can you quantify how many youths have been employed for the past 5 years against those who are not employed? I think this should be going to Kantu. So I think I'll start with Kantu. Your reactions from those comments, any specific comment you'd like to respond to, and answers to some of those questions. And then Nakweti can also share his thoughts on that.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. I'll start with the first question, which talked about for me, how I started my business and everything. Just after secondary school, I didn't wait for me to come to university in order for me to have to get an opportunity. Just after university, I knew I had good grades to come to high school, but I had to humble myself. Despite me having those good grades, I looked at the bigger picture. Yes, I've got these good grades, but I need to train myself in various activities that I can get to do. Mr. Nakweti, I can tell you and testify right now, I, just upon finishing grade 12, I worked in my yard. I swept outside somebody's house. I used to wake up early in the morning. I leave my place and go work for somebody. Even my other fellow colleagues, my other youths, I can tell you right now to say, other youths used to laugh at me to say, why are you doing all these things when you even have got good grades of grade 12? Why are you doing all these things? What am I trying to bring out here? It's the issue of mindset. As young people, we need to change our mindset. We really need to change our mindset, and we need to get to utilize each and every opportunity that we have. There are various things, despite even your parents getting to provide, you can get to train yourselves in various skills so that you are exposed to various activities. Even when life gets to be hard, you'll be able to know how to survive and how to do certain things. I'll come to the issue of empowerment. Government, if we look at the previous regimes, Mr. Nakweti and Mr. Fumba, if you look at the previous regimes, you can testify to me that the previous regimes had less to do with the issue of empowerment. And to be honest, this has, despite what government... Yes, Mr. Fumba.
So when you say previous regime, are you talking about the Michael Sata regime?
When I talk about the previous regime, I'm talking about the various previous government that came in place before and comparing to the current. Okay, so for me, what I'm trying to say is that there has been various empowerment schemes. Even I mentioned to the issues to do with the veteran skills. Mr. Nakweti talked about skills, providing skills. When you're given a skill, you can get to survive on your own. When you're given a skill, you can be able to develop on your own. There's a difference between somebody who doesn't have a skill and somebody who has a skill in the way that you can get to do your thing. I'll give you an example. Even here at school, students here at school, there are few students who will be able to look at the bigger picture and say, I'm going to graduate soon. I'm going to move out of the university. But before I get to move out of the university, I can get to engage myself in various activities. And looking at also the issue of employment, government in the past 5 years has been employing in various sectors. And we have been looking at these employments. We have been seeing people getting employed, and despite that, it has provided skills and also provided empowerment to those who don't have skills. At the end of the day, we cannot say that no, government has not probably done anything towards trying to create an environment that will enable youth or young people, even the nation at large, to be in a better position. So on that part, there was the other question that was talking about bursaries. The bursaries have been, I earlier said this, the bursaries have been sent out to various schools that never had bursaries. For example, I'll give you an example of Evelyn Horn. Evelyn Horn College never had bursaries. They never had issues to do with bursaries. Students used to pay for themselves there. But government looked at the bigger picture. What is more cardinal? What is more important here? We have people to be in school, or we have a few people in school, and they are also getting huge sums of money out there for their allowance and other things. But they looked at the bigger picture to say, no, let us try to increase the number of people who are going to go out there and who are going to be learning in these schools, because the nation is not just for particular people. And it wasn't just for UNZA or CBU, but it was for every government institute which needed this funding. Hence, government, as of now, you can also bear with me, Mr. Nakweta and Mr. Fumba, that government is currently having sponsorships in various government schools. Then I'll also come to the current here at UNZA, the current first years, who are all of them who are accepted under government sponsorship. They were given 100% sponsorship, which is a good thing as compared to other years where the government used to only, probably others are given 25%, others are given 50%, others are given 75%. Despite that, students would not be able to manage to pay for their school because they couldn't manage to find the other remaining money. But currently, government has put all the first years to be on 100% sponsorship, which I feel it is a good thing at the end of the day.
I'm gonna bring you to this question by Madaliso, and then just if you don't want to respond to it, please don't. If you can respond to it. Daliso says, can you quantify how many youths have been employed for the past 5 years against those who are not employed?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. Quantifying the actual numbers of how many youths have been employed. What I can just tell you is that currently the government has been employing from the onset of the 2016 election, after the onset of the 2016 election, and the numbers have been thousands and thousands of numbers of people being employed in various sectors. We can talk about the health sector, we can talk about the education sector, we can talk about various agricultural sector, we can talk about the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries. We have seen government employing people in these sectors. Even when we come to the police, army, and also other various forces, a lot of youths have been employed there. So what I can just say is that in as much as government has been doing all this, it has also come up with initiatives to get to empower these youths to get to see to it that despite others who are not employed, they can also try to find something to do and get to engage themselves in various activities which they can get to do.
Mr. Nakweti, this gentleman says he has responded to your issues. Are you satisfied?
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Regan Kantu says he has responded to your issues. Are you happy with his responses?
Yeah, somehow I want to comment on the issue of employment and the 100% bursary. You know, Comrade Kantu and the Comrade Pirado, I think you agree with me that even when you're given 100% in campus, that's not the guarantee that you cannot need the other things. You know, I'll give you an example. During our time at the university, what you write, our friends were on 100%, even me, like I was 100%, but it doesn't mean that I never used to pay anything to the school. So what we used to do is that we used to pay using the meal allowances that were removed to pay those registration fee. So I would say yes, the idea of taking bursaries to other schools, that's a powerful idea and it's good, and we all want everyone to be educated. But my worry is where they removed the meal allowance, because that meal allowance, it used to help those students, to help them registration, and even to help their families where they're coming from. And I'll come back to the point where you said in health they have been employing. We agree they have been employing, yes, but what mechanism do they use to employ those people? Because currently, so far, we hear they want to employ 395 health workers. So can you just imagine, Mr. Claude and Mr. Kantu, we have maybe 8,000 health workers that are waiting for employment. Are you sure that 395 can it help in any way? You know, when you look at this number, these are the things that brings a lot of brewers in our country, because they can't get that number, you know, 395 out of maybe 8,000. We're also going to come back from the recent advertised teacher recruitment. You know, we have about 6,000 teachers. Then you employ 1,200. You know that these are things that brings noise in our country, because youths are not empowered. We're not saying that maybe we want to be given food. No, we want the government to create a platform for us, so at least even so we can also get those opportunities.
Mr. Nakweti.
You're empowered.
Mr. Nakweti.
You can end up doing your own stuff. And Mr. Kantu, excuse me, I want to tell you one thing again. You know, this issue of it's not just me, no. Don't be too egocentric where you're saying me, I started this, me. No. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of young people out there who want opportunities. Maybe you might be coming into an advantaged family rather than others. So you saying me, no, that me has to be out. The issue here is we. How are we benefiting all of us as a whole?
Okay.
How are we going to make sure that even almost everyone benefits from these available opportunities? That's the best that you need to go.
Mr. Nakweti, I think we will need to be honest with each other and speak out the truth, that which everybody knows in the nation. When we're not just looking at the current employment, which is happening now, running government, it is not just about chipante kind of running government. There are a lot of various activities that you need to put in place. When you look at the number of employments which government has been doing in the past 5 years, even the current, you cannot say that government should completely spend its money and resources in recruiting, whereas other sectors are not running. We have been having employment in various sectors. I've given you an example. The health sector, if it's a health sector, it has, of late, in the last past 5 years, it has been having the highest numbers of employment. When you look at the number of employment which government did, when you come to the Ministry of Agriculture, we have been having people in agriculture being employed. When you go to the Ministry of Livestock, people have been employed, and government has also been empowering various ministries, even the Ministry of Livestock. It has been empowering youths. But the issue of the issue that I was trying to tell you when I was talking about me, it's not about me. Yes, it's about everybody. It's the issue of the mindset as youths. We really need to change our mindsets as youths. The issue of which before we are even formed, that has to come to be out of us. We need to start from somewhere. Like I told you, nobody starts from the top. Even the people, those who are on top, they never started from the top. They started somewhere. We need to have a issue of taking advantage of each and every opportunity that we have. I told you, it's not like I was coming from a family that is well to do. No, but I was able to do certain things because I was looking at the bigger picture of things.
Regan, I want us to respond to a few questions from our viewers, then we can continue on the discussion. So this one is coming from King Angie Styles. King Angie says, there has been no equity in delivering those empowerment funds and even just opportunity. Empowerment should be tailored to the needs of each youth in specific areas. Otherwise, Western has not benefited much from all government youth empowerment initiatives. Let me see if I can also get another one. Miriam Mvula says, first is the education system is greatly compromised because how do you teach kids to be practical when they have 9 and 8 subjects to learn what? Chihana says, I think political violence demands more than just denouncing it. Those in corridors of power must not denounce it, but curtail the violence, and it can only be the President Lungu, who has the state power. Unfortunately, political violence is used to perpetuate or prolong a stay of a political party in power. Which program has government initiated that has empowered young people who are not affiliated to their party? Wow, okay. So I would like to hear, first of all, start from you, Nakweti, because Kanto had started responding to you. I don't know if you would like to respond to him or not to any of the things that have been raised, and then we can get back to Kanto.
Okay. Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I've liked.
Yes, Nakweti.
Yes, I've liked to, I think Kantu and the Comrade Pilar, I think you heard me where I said Western Province hasn't been benefiting from this youth empowerment. I think you saw it from the comment. So those are the things that we are trying to address here. It's not that maybe because maybe we want maybe just to make noise and then we are stating the facts here. So those are the things that so you see even other people are bringing those issues. It means those issues, they are real. I also want to add on the I've seen a comment from Chiano that says that people our president has to be in forefront to stop political violence. Yes, I agree with you in the sense that political violence somehow it doesn't just come from the people don't just do it. Political violence is planned. People sit and plan for political violence to happen because as a cadre, a youth. Sometimes they don't even know how programs are run. So those youth, some of they are, I'm not saying they are taught, at least they are given ideas on how they're going to do those things. So we need leaders from all political organizations, including government, to make sure that political violence is preached among their youth so that we can have a peaceful nation. So those are the things that we need to look at, last time, I think in 2012, when Comrade Winter Kalimba was still Secretary General for PF, there's one point that he said where he said that people plan for political violence to aid a certain movement. He was reacting in the sense that there was a time when Mao Sampo was broke when he was going somewhere by some cadres, They said bring, political violence. So he said that political violence is planned. So if political violence is planned by our leaders, so I would say that maybe it's high time now as leaders, so that we can stop, involving youth in these vices, so at least we can have a peaceful nation. And looking at it from now, we'll be heading towards election. So we need to make sure that we denounce political violence, so at least we can have peaceful and free and fair elections.
Okay, so
yes,
Mr. Nakwete, just to allude to what my colleague has mentioned on a few things which I can picked out.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Mr. Fumba and Mr. Nakwete, you can bear with me on this one. I mentioned these to say, when it comes to issue to do with political violence or denouncing political violence or stopping political violence, we do not need to take sides. regardless of your political affiliation, violence has to be condemned and peace has to be maintained. And I mentioned this to say there is no country which has fostered development with regard with having in line with violence. Hence, the issue of the statement which came out to say it's only the president who can get to denounce political violence. I will tell you, Mr. Nakweta and Mr. Fumba, to say it is not just about the president himself. Of course, he's the leader of the nation, he's currently in power and everything. But you can bear with me to say on various counts, the president has come out publicly and to denounce the issue of violence. To me, what I can just tell you, to be honest with you, I feel the people in charge to get to curb this violence, for example, the police, ECZ does got also other rules and platform to even disqualify a political party that is perpetrating violence. I feel they have not upped their game, so there is need also for those various sectors to get to up their game. Even non-governmental organizations, they also need to come in place and to get to denounce this violence, because violence is not just limited to the current sitting government or the government which is in sitting. It encompasses everybody, the churches, every youth, every ordinary Zambian. We need to denounce violence. We cannot develop as a country without violence. I'll give you an example. In 2016, after the elections, we had a lot of political violence which happened. We had people being beaten up. We had people being killed because certain political players did not want to accept results. So some other causes of political violence is because people, certain leaders, are not willing to get to respect what Zambians would decide. Like I told you, we need to engage ourselves as young people in issue-based politics. Politics which will be able to be issue-based, not politics which you're doing politics because you have probably been paid by somebody to get to utter certain head statement which will bring propaganda. As young people, we need to denounce from that, and each and every Zambian need to denounce from that. We need to look at the bigger picture of it all. Our country has been having regime changes peacefully, and even this time we need to make sure that the peace is maintained. And even the presidential candidates for various political parties, they will need to respect the views of Zambians. As Zambians will be going to the polls, what will be the outcome of the polls? Each and every political leader should accept. I will give you an example. Vasata used to say this: Mulipa anayo, Denkateka. There will be no one who is going to be there, because you will not be there as my people have killed each other. So we are also calling upon other political players to say, let them denounce violence. Regardless, violence is violence. There is nothing about trying to be sided on one side. Let's call a spade a spade. Violence is violence. Even if it's within a political party, intra-party fightings, outside the party, different political ideologies, violence is violence, and we need to condemn it. As a country, we cannot get to move on with violence.
Okay, so let me just read a stream of messages, and then we can hear your closing remarks. I think we've lost on time. This one is coming from Vincent Sikanika, from watching us from YouTube. Vincent says, everyone should take part to stop violence. It's our responsibility with the help of higher authority like police, ECZ, the ruling and opposition leaders, the church and community leaders. That's Vincent there. Madaliso comes back and says, can't you have your facts right? Do you know the backlog of unemployed teachers, backlog of unemployed paramedicals in health sector? Government recently advertised teachers recruitment only up to those who graduated in 2016, meaning from 2017, teachers are roaming the streets. For health sector, those cosmetic recruitments, staff have not been on salary since some of them more than 2 years, because government has not funded them. But they are busy preaching youth empowerment fund. Chris Njamba says, no, it takes the command of President Lungu to tell police officers to man up and act. Raphael Lumai says, Mr. Kantu, you should also realize that those empowerments are given to those who are politically connected. Let us be realistic and avoid being economical with the truth. Michael Ngosa says the government can't employ everyone, guys. And my brother Regan there, you are talking the truth. And those are just talking for the sake of opposing. King Angie comes back and says, if we have been having high employment throughout, why then do we have high levels of unemployment in the country? I agree with King Angie, because remember in your introductory remarks, Regan, you said one of the causes of political violence is unemployment. When young people are broke because there's poverty, because young people are broke, they don't have jobs, and because there's so much free time, then it leads to political violence. I'll ask you to share your concluding remarks. If you can respond to any of those comments, if you have to. But you have to be brief as we close the program. And then I also come to you. I think let me start with Nakweti, because you were just from speaking. So Nakweti, can you conclude with your remarks, your concluding remarks? You can respond, you can add. Okay, Nakweti has disappeared. Regan, you can share your concluding remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be put on record even today to say the president has always been denouncing political violence, and he has always been appealing to people in charge of manning up to make sure that violence is not perpetrated, to man up. And recently we have also seen where the president had to talk to people, especially the police in Lusaka, to get to man up their game, of which like I said earlier on, despite the president also getting to make those statements, all of us, we have got a role to play when it comes to political violence. We have a role to play. There's a better way in which we can engage the nation and develop the nation. We can share different ideas. I think we need to change our current way of thinking when it comes to politics as Zambians. There's so much bitterness in our current politics. We cannot get to share ideas. We cannot get to give different views to other political parties, because all we want is to see the other regimes to get to fail. I think we need to stop hate speech. We need to stop propaganda. We need to stop cyberbullying. We need to stop all those things in order for us to develop as a country. Yes, indeed, government cannot employ everybody in the country. It cannot get to do that. Despite government being the largest employer in the country, you can bear with me, Mr. Fumba and Mr. Nakweti, government has been the largest employee in the country. It has been employing different people from various sectors, and most of them, they're civil servants, and most of them, they're working in these government institutes. So for us to say that the government has done nothing in the past years when it comes to the issue of employment, I think we're not being truthful to ourselves. And looking at what other alternative means which government has put in place, the issue to do with empowerment, government has been spearheading these empowerments. I think Mr. Nakweti, you can also bear with me to say these empowerments are open. You just have to apply for them, and when you get those empowerments, they don't get to look at your colors. They don't get to look at who you are. We are one people. We are one Zambia, one nation, regardless of our political affiliation. A government, when it is in service, it is not serving for a particular group of people or for a particular individuals. No, it is serving everybody, and we need to agree with that. The other thing that I've seen is that young people, we get to shine from these activities because probably you feel, no, I belong to a particular party, hence I cannot engage myself in this particular party which is in power to get certain things. So I think we need to change our mindset. Zambia is one. We are one, and we need to make sure that we get to work together and to see to it that our nation gets to develop. And we can only share these ideas if we unite together, regardless of our political affiliation.
Okay, Regan, thank you very much. Nakweti, your concluding remarks, you can respond to any of the comments that have been shared. You can respond to Regan, but you have to have it in mind that you are concluding
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Pirato. I would say it's high time now political parties started training their youths in their manifesto manifesto and the party ideology, so that they can get to know the ideology of their party, so that they can get to know that what they are supposed to do in a political party is not just being a security man. What is about maybe upholding the like the party principles. I can also say that this political violence is not just for like for people that are involved in politics. People starting from churches, different organizations, they should make sure that they start denouncing political violence, so that we can have a peaceful country. Because for Zambia to be a better country, to be the way we want it to be, we have to stay away from political violence. And I would say, it's like mostly political violence is mostly characterized in Lusaka and Copper Belt. We need the party officials in these two provinces at least to train their youths, so they can stay out from these political violence, so that at least these places they can be peaceful, just like the way we want them to be. Because no one wants noise. Each and everyone wants peace, and for us to have peace, we have to be together to move in one accord. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I must state that this was one heated, intelligent discussion. And I do hope that we create as many as this amongst young people, so that we get to share ideas and address issues of violence. When people cannot communicate, it means that that's already. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And